I'm going to take your souls. We have the power. We decide what's hot. If we don't go, nobody goes. If we don't support, nobody supports. We control what's cool. We control what's hot. We control what your kids listen to, what they dance to. We control what's in video games. We control how they wear their pants, sag their pants. We control everything.
How many times have you watched someone go from hip-hop mogul to prisoner in real time? Like blink twice and suddenly Diddy's not trending for a remix. He's trending for felonies. And I don't mean shoplifting a Ciroc bottle. I mean full on. FBI, open up! This man went from bad boy for life to bad look forever in a matter of a few days. And it all cracked wide open when Cassie stepped up and laid out her truth like a courtroom mic drop. Testimonies, trauma, surveillance footage. It's giving Lifetime movie but with actual legal consequences. Let's get into it. What's good, Wave Makers? It's your boy Complex. How you doing? I'm sure you're doing a lot better than the diddler. Yeah, you read the title right. Diddy's trial just got a lot worse. Cassie has made the choice to push through her trauma and testify. And Cassie didn't just pull up to court. She showed up with receipts. Her testimony wasn't surface level drama. It was a behind the scenes horror story wrapped in designer bags and all white parties. She laid out a time of emotional manipulation, drug use, and control so intense it sounded like a Jordan Peele script. This wasn't just a messy breakup gone wrong. It was a masterclass of coercion, dressed up as love from a powerful man in the music industry. One of the most chilling things that a lot of us happen to know was that she said that Diddy forced her into the freak-offs. Which, first of all, why does that sound like a bad BET uncut DVD? These weren't just parties. They were allegedly planned, coerced, filmed sex events, weaponized against her if she ever tried to leave or say no. And he apparently kept her drugged to keep her in the mood. Cassie also talked about the emotional and mental abuse she endured. She was constantly monitored, allegedly isolated from friends and family, and kept under lock like she was an expensive possession instead of a partner. The power dynamic was so one-sided that it made the Titanic look balanced. When someone owns the mansion, the money, the music, and your silence, that's not a relationship. That's a hostage situation with private jets. What really drove the message home is how methodical it all sounded. Like it wasn't just impulsive, wild behavior. It was structured abuse. Planned trips with planned freak-offs. Scheduled parties with hand-picked women. Everything documented, controlled, and used to dominate. And you could tell the courtroom was not ready. The jury was locked in. Meanwhile, the defense was out here doing mental gymnastics, trying to find a way to flip Cassie into the crazy ex. But that gaslighting don't work the same in 2025 when those receipts are digital. Bottom line, this wasn't just a testimony. It was exposure. It took everything that we thought we knew about celebrity couples and said, y'all really don't know what happens behind closed doors. Cassie's story shook the trial not because it was loud, but because it was detailed. And in a courtroom, details are currency. Remember the surveillance footage of Diddy and Cassie at the hotel? This was high definition. You can't lie about this footage. It showed Diddy grabbing, throwing, and kicking Cassie in a hallway like he was auditioning for WWE. You could hear the collective from everyone. This video wasn't even supposed to be public. Diddy was already trying to pay to take that footage off their hands. But instead, it leaked out of nowhere. And when it did, it turned the trial into a visual indictment. You could have been on the fence before, but once everyone saw that footage, it was game over. It's like when someone tells you a dog bit them versus seeing the teeth marks. Scars are easier to believe than words. Even Diddy's PR team had to give up the ghost. Within 48 hours, he issued a public apology calling his actions inexcusable. You'd think the man who built his brand on Can't Stop, Won't Stop is now hitting pause real quick. You could feel the lawyers clutching their satchels when they saw the views racking up on YouTube. In court, the video was admitted into evidence despite the attempts to block it. The judge was like, yeah, no, we're playing that tape. And once that played, everything Cassie said in her testimony got a booster shot of credibility. Now it wasn't just he said, she said. It was he did, she survived. Don't underestimate how powerful visuals are in a legal case. A testimony can be debated, text messages can be explained, but a full-body NFL-style tackle leading into a stomp-out on camera? Good luck spinning that to make Cassie look crazy. At this point, the video is the crown jewel of the prosecution's evidence. It put the world on notice and turned a slow-moving scandal into front-page hellfire. There's no dancing around this one, not even for Diddy. His legal team is trying so hard to spin this that they might as well be doing cartwheels in the courtroom. Their latest defense? Cassie was violent too. They really pulled the mutual abuse card like this was Uno. Nah fam, there's a difference between clapping back and surviving. Ain't nobody buying that reverse psychology special they serving. They even brought text messages from Cassie that they say show that she wanted the freak-offs and was consenting. Let me tell you something, if you have to dig through 40,000 messages just to find one line that says I'm excited and ignore the context of fear, power imbalance, and drug use, that's not a defense. That's a scavenger hunt for denial. One of their wildest tactics was saying that Cassie's trauma made her unstable and not credible. You know how crazy that sounds? Your Honor, my client didn't abuse her. She's just been acting weird from all the alleged abuse. That's like punching somebody and then calling them dramatic for being mad that you punched them. Make it make sense. The jury ain't stupid. My brother in Christ, this is not The Notebook. This is Criminal Minds, Industry Edition. And with that hotel video in play, it's giving damage control, not innocence. Critics outside the courtroom are calling this out too. Victim blaming ain't the flex y'all think it is. So now the defense is boxed in. They can't deny what's on tape. They can't shake her testimony. And every time they speak, it's sounding more and more like gaslight karaoke. If your whole defense relies on the jury not believing a woman that came with receipts, you already lost, bro. When that video dropped and Cassie took the stand, Diddy's public image did a nosedive so fast it left a crater. This is a man who once danced in shiny suits and sold Ciroc like holy water. Now he's the main character in every fallen celebrity thread on Twitter. First, it was fans removing him from playlists. Then it was people demanding that stores pull his liquor. Then ironically, even some of his industry peers, who once partied in those same mansions, went real quiet or started low-key unfollowing him. Loyalty evaporated real fast once the receipts got HD. What's wild is how quickly public sentiment shifted. One day it's Diddy's a legend. The next it's Diddy is the final boss of toxic masculinity. Folks started looking sideways at every Bad Boys contract. And I gotta say one thing, y'all also gotta tell Jaguar Wright that she was right.
My name was the name heard around the world. Did you see what Diddy did to Cassie? Jag was right. Jag was right. My walking shoes. Did you see what Diddy did to Cassie? She wasn't lying. She wasn't lying. And still be standing when it all comes to pass. It's good to be here. I'm glad it's not just me anymore. I'm glad it's someone else. I'm glad there are other people who need to be heard. I'll be sure. I'm glad they're hearing him, Cassie. I'm glad they're hearing her. It's Cat Williams that taught me how to be Jaguar, right?
And you already know TikTok is ruthless. There's edits with that hotel footage playing over haunting violins, and creators doing deep dives like they're preparing for court themselves. Somebody even did a timeline of Diddy's chaos in under 3 minutes. Never underestimate Gen Z with Wi-Fi and trauma awareness. The media jumped in on it too. CNN, The Guardian, Variety, every outlet is breaking the trial down frame by frame. And the more that comes out, the worse it looks. At this point, even AI-generated deepfakes couldn't make him look innocent. The vibe now is less cancel culture and more consequence culture. People aren't turning on Diddy because of clout. They're turning because the math ain't mathin'. And survivors like Cassie are finally being heard. The silence around him used to be fear, now it's disgust. This trial ain't just a personal L for Diddy. It's about to shift the whole industry. If he's convicted, we're talking decades behind bars. Sex trafficking, abuse, coercion. These ain't light charges, and the feds ain't playing. This is the kind of case that makes celebrities and execs start deleting old texts and taking sabbaticals out of the country. This is a man who had his name in music, vodka, fashion, and scholarships. If the conviction hits, it's not just Diddy the person, it's the brand of Diddy that goes down as well. And if he takes a plea or folds under pressure, trust, he's naming names. A lot of folks in the industry looking real nervous right now. Record labels are already distancing themselves. Brands too. No more Diddy-sponsored parties, no surprise appearances, no bad boy nostalgia medleys. They're treating him like expired milk. Out the fridge, down the drain, never speak of it again. On the legal side, this trial sets a precedent. Powerful men in entertainment are being forced to face legal and public accountability at the same time. What used to be swept under the rug now goes straight to the courtroom with cameras and a trending hashtag. This ain't cancel culture, it's consequence culture. This also opens the door for other survivors, especially those connected to the entertainment industry, to step up. If Cassie can testify after all these years with that much risk, so can others. Diddy might be the first in this round, but he definitely ain't the last. In short, this trial ain't just a moment, it's a movement with subpoenas. Diddy's downfall might be one of the biggest wake-up calls the industry has ever had. Ain't no more hiding behind bodyguards and NDAs. Now let's give credit where it's due. Cassie stepping up didn't just make headlines. It opened floodgates. Survivors from across industries in entertainment, fashion, and corporate spaces are sharing their stories too. One person's bravery unlocked a whole vault of silence. And now that silence is cracking wide open. Advocacy groups are taking this moment and running with it. Organizations for domestic abuse, trafficking, and women's rights are showing up to the courthouse, hosting panels, launching campaigns, and telling folks, this is the moment. Don't look away, don't scroll past, do something. Social media turned into a storytelling hub overnight. Women are connecting their own experiences to Cassie's, painting out the red flags that they missed, the fear they lived with, and the power imbalance that they couldn't name until now. Even educators are tapping in. Universities are updating relationship education, workshops are being held for young people in the industry, and producers are getting sat down and told, y'all ain't untouchable no more. If you try some mess, you next. Cassie didn't ask to be the face of a movement, but her story forced people to face hard truths. That abuse can wear diamonds, and control can sound like love. So yeah, Diddy's trial might be about one man, but the impact? That's generational. The system has a spotlight on it now, and Cassie lit the fuse. Listen, no matter how this trial ends, something bigger already happened. Cassie said enough. In the moment she did, people listened. Survivors found strength, the industry found panic, and the public found clarity. Diddy ain't just fighting charges. He's fighting the ghost of every secret people taught themselves to ignore because he's a legend. But fame doesn't make you untouchable. Power doesn't make you innocent. In silence, that just delays the reckoning. Don Richards, a former member of the music group Danity Kane, which was formed by Diddy, is set to testify as well. Who knows who will have enough courage to testify next? Like I said before, this isn't about cancel culture. It's about consequence culture. I'm Plex, and this was messy, necessary, and long overdue. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that like and subscribe so you don't miss any more commentary. Let me know in the comments, how do you think this trial is going to turn out, and who do you think will speak up next? Thank you for tuning in. And if you made it to the end, you are an amazing person, and your support was a long way in helping me provide more thoughtful and engaging content as we grow. Until next time, much love. We out here. Peace. Wait, never lost our way. Now we on our way.